early 2009, when GM and Ford were stumbling toward uncertainty and the Detroit Auto Show had all the glitz of an insurance convention, no one could have imagined that the Motor City would ever again produce cars like the GT350 and the Grand Sport. But it's well known that car companies can be at their best when they're anxious about keeping the lights on. Both of these cars came from a hunger to prove that world-class virtue can be more than marketing talking points. And so, 8 years after the doom and gloom, we have these two unimaginably good V8 machines and a $64,000 question. Believing that there'd only be space for one of these cars on the list, our staff was divided, with the GT350's backers on one side and the Grand Sports on the other. In the final summation, each car had the votes to last year. The Corvette missed the 10 best cut after the C7's 2-year run. Perhaps the intoxicating influence of the 650 horsepower Z06 would have helped the Corvette gain enough votes for another year, yet by then GM had raised the price above our $80,000 cap. Enter the Grand Sport, which mates the regular Corvette powertrain to the chassis of the mighty Z06 while avoiding a major price increase. You can park a GS in your driveway for as little as $66,445, exactly $10,000 more than the base car and nearly $15,000 less than the Z06. Clinch its spot, but the Rift helped us arrive at a deeper understanding of both. The GT350 also found its spot on our 10 best roster because it is a transcendent machine that looks like a Mustang. Senior technical editor and GT350 advocate Casey Colwell summed it up: there are arguments for both, but the GT350 is by far the most complete car. I drove the Grand Sport and the GT350 back-to-back twice to come to that conclusion. The Ford is more desirable, more practical, and cheaper. It's okay with enough of us that the engine isn't easy listening. You don't want a car like that to make the equivalent of elevator music anyway. As unnecessary as it is wonderful, this engine transforms the Mustang into something esoteric. If all this means that we have two V8 cars with similar emissions and pricing, so be it. We're living in halcyon days for performance cars, and our votes reflect that. After all, the big V8 deserves its own place next to jazz and the television sitcom as a uniquely American art form.